Hi everyone. You can see the picture behind me. Welcome to Rotax, the factory of death. Rotax, which is based near Linz, is the sole manufacturer of motors that go into select UAVs, unmanned aerial vehicles, the big drones that are hovering 24/7 over Gaza and in other places. You have the American one, the Predator, you have an Iranian drone, and you have several Israeli ones, among others. And when we talk about all of these drones, UAVs, which are used for the worst crimes that are happening these days, the motor is at the heart of that machine. So what I would like to show you is a little bit about this whole mechanism of the role of drones and how important they are, and then we will talk about Rotax. The picture you see behind me is from an action that we took where we basically occupied the building, or some people, we were outside, but some others have occupied the premises of that factory. This is a video from Elbit Systems. Elbit Systems is Israel's #1 arms manufacturer, producing the vast majority of weapons being used in Gaza. Every aspect of the genocide that is happening right now in Gaza has either an Elbit logo on it or some Elbit component in it. And Elbit Systems, which is Israel's #1 arms manufacturer, as I said, is working in tandem, in strong collaboration with the Israeli army, and I'll show you just how important that collaboration is. I wanted to show you this video because it talks about the autonomous vehicles, the land vehicles, the sea vehicles, the air vehicles, these UAVs and quadcopters that you see here. And this is part and parcel of the strategy and of the whole thinking of the Zionist project in Palestine. The Zionist project in Palestine is all about creating a place for us and only for us at the expense of all the others, and for that, this need of a population control. And this is done, the next level of this type of population control is done via the use of this high-tech technology. Today, there are 8 squadrons operating in the Israeli Air Force. 4 of them have Rotax engines in them. As I mentioned, Rotax is playing a very important role. The importance of the engine in these vehicles are very important. When we talk about the strong collaboration between Elbit and the Israeli army, I will give you this example. The Hermes 900, which carries a Rotax engine, was under development in 2014 when there was the massacre in Gaza called Protective Edge. During the 51-day assault in Gaza, where 551 children were murdered, 89 families were obliterated. During these 51 days of assault on Gaza, the Hermes 900 that you see in the picture was introduced into the war scene. It was still under development, and that meant that Elbit Systems themselves had to be on site operating these drones. They were making every takeoff and every landing, while next to them, the Israeli Air Force drone pilots were dropping the missile. This took place for a whole year. Only a year later was the first time when the Israeli Air Force was flying solo the Hermes 900. Elbit were there, but not touching the stick. During this whole operation, during this whole development of this Hermes 900, Rotax must have been very much in the know of what was happening. And they were especially in the know on the 8th day of that operation, when 4 boys were murdered on the beach. You may remember the story of the Bakr boys. 4 boys were hunted down on the beach. 4 were killed, 4 were injured. They were shot with 2 missiles, 30 seconds apart. The first missile murdered 1 child, then the rest were fleeing for their lives. As they were fleeing for their lives, they were hunted down. 30 seconds later, another missile hit them. 2 UAVs, 2 Elbit UAVs were in the air, the Hermes 450 and the Hermes 900 with a Rotax engine in it. This is a video of the incident, and because it's in French, I'll just tell you that it tells the story of what happened with the Baker boys, and because there was a French television crew documenting what happened, this went viral, and this is why Rotax must have known what was happening, because this video went all over the world.
Israélien, puis un autre. Il semble s'approcher de la côte. Sous une chaleur écrasante, un groupe d'enfants joue sur la digue, quand soudain, un obus tiré depuis un navire touche une cabane de pêcheurs. Les enfants effrayés courent vers la plage. C'est alors qu'un second obus les atteint. 4 enfants sont tués sur le coup, plusieurs sont blessés. Nous tournons l'arrivée des secours, les petits corps sur les brancards et sur le sable, et les cris d'une mère choquée qui cherche son enfant. Durant toute la journée, la marine et l'aviation israélienne ont pilonné sans relâche différents sites dans Gaza et les raids se poursuivent en ce moment.
Et le bilan?
I will show you quickly another video. This is a video from an Elbit Systems executive, and he talks about the importance of the engine in that drone.
My name is Hagi Topolansky. In my background, I'm a fighter pilot, F-15, F-16, but I am the past. I am the past. Let me show you the future. The future of Israel, the future of the world. There is one thing that it's only one. And actually, all the aircraft in the system depend on it. Guess what is it? Let me show you. The most important part in the aircraft. The one that should be reliable, very reliable. The engine. One engine that actually has no redundancy and carry all the king to the air.
The most important thing in the aircraft, the one that should be very reliable. And Rotax is known for manufacturing very reliable, very efficient engines. Everything about these UAVs is built around the engine. All the rest can be changed. The weapons, even the wing size and shape and so on, obviously the software that is running. The one thing that is very, very difficult to alter, to improve, is the engine. So, you understand the importance of Rotax in all of this operation. When it was found out that an Iranian drone carrying a Rotax engine was downed, used by Russia, there was, again, a bit of, firestorm about how is this possible. So Rotax was very quick to publish an apology. It has since been removed from the internet, but this is from the archive. And Rotax says, we didn't know. Rotax aircraft engines are produced, designed, and certified for civil use only by the applicable civil regulatory authority. This is a statement for civilian purposes. However, and I'm sure that Garrett will tell us more about this, we see here that not long ago, the Japanese were trying out an Israeli drone produced by a company, IAI, which is owned by the Israeli government. And it says here that, this is in German, so maybe someone can help me with translation, but it says here that the Japanese and the manufacturer of the UAVs were working in close cooperation with the motor manufacturer in order to basically take this drone to its limits in order to be able to fly as high and as fast as it needs to. Okay, I think we all understand by now the importance of the engine and the close cooperation between the manufacturer, between the army and the industry. Thank you. This is the engine inside. The Rotax engine, you can identify it by these red marks here that say Rotax on them inside this drone. Finally, because we don't have much time, finally, again, this is the engine in an official Elbit Systems document. This is the engine in an Israeli drone that was downed in Iran when Israel attacked Iran not too long ago. Again, the engine here, marked here, also Israeli missiles marked here. Mecholit missiles, and again here. Finally, if Rotax claimed that they didn't know, it would be very difficult for them because their general manager of BRP-Rotax was actually giving us a talk in 2020 at the Technion in occupied Haifa. And he was talking about the use of the Rotax engines in UAVs. After him, there was a person from the Israeli army talking about how the Israeli army is using UAVs, and then 4 people from the Israeli army were talking about how they are using specifically the Rotax engine and how they are adapting that engine, adapting the thermostat in that engine in order to reach, you know, the performance that they need. This is the same Thomas Uhr, who is the former general manager. Now he is an executive in the greater BRP. Blurred here is the current general manager, and behind him is the person from IAI. IAI is the drone manufacturer, one of the competitor to Elbit. IAI is an Israeli government-owned manufacturer, and this guy who is blurred is the head of the EU R&D operations. Again, this is the current general manager. You see Rotax is written on his label. This is in the Technion in Haifa, where they are discussing this. At the same symposium, the Rotax engine. Here in the back, you see the IAI poster. Here, IAI, the Rotax in the background. And this is the Heron I, the UAV. One of those that is currently bombing Gaza. Thank you. First of all, we shouldn't only focus on the Austrian part, because Rotax specifically is part of BRP-Rotax. BRP is a Canadian conglomerate. So there are different ways to tackle this also on the international arena. Same goes for tackling this with the European Parliament and the European Commission. Okay, it's not only about Austrian law, there's also European law and obviously international law. And we have to work on all these fronts. And also, not only the law, we have the activists, we have the people who are active throughout Europe and around the world who are part of this struggle. So this ties into a bigger struggle that we have to think about. And another quick comment is when we talk about Canada and the US, etc., it was actually probably Obama's greatest achievement. First of all, the first thing he did in office was to greenlight the massacre in Gaza. And the 2 other things that he did was to escalate the drone attacks, the extrajudicial killings, in an order of magnitude 10 times more than his predecessor, Bush. And the other thing that he did was a crackdown on freedom of expression in the US. What Trump is doing now is just continuing the legacy of Obama.